Hi everyone, thank you for coming. It is very nice to see so many familiar faces here. I'm really happy that so many people are happy and glad to find out more about our topic and about our podcast. I will say first that we are using these microphones to record our offline podcast. So it's the first time that we record an offline podcast. So first I will present my colleagues from Georgia, Sweden and Moldova. First we have Alina, who is a manager at Diaz. There is Valeria with her phone. She is the social media manager at Diaz and at Echolocation. We have Malo. She is a project coordinator at K News in Georgia. Toko. Yeah, is it right? He's the video producer at K News in Georgia. And then we have Levani, also from Georgia. He's the digital media manager. And now to the Sweden team, we have David. He's the editor-in-chief at Global Bar magazine. And Samuel, you're here. He's a student and a host from the Sweden delegation. And I'm Malina, and I'm the host from Moldovan side and journalist at Diaz. And now for you to better understand the concept behind our podcast called Echolocation, I will invite David to explain more. So Echolocation is the podcast that united three countries, Moldova, Sweden and Georgia, in one joint collaboration called Echolocation. So please, David, can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, thank you, Elena. As I'm the oldest person here, I guess, in the room, then fair enough that I start, like I go home when you go on the partying all night. No, but seriously, I think this is a great opportunity for us. And how did it start out, actually? Yeah, we are a small media outlet. We are like K News or like DS. We are working with global development issues in Sweden. And one of our ideas is to make Swedes understand more about what's happening in the world. Connecting people and explaining and do podcast articles. We have been working a lot with information things over many years. And I'm a passionate traveler. I have been to some 150 countries, and I love going.
Right.
And I've been here before. This is not my first time here, but I like this country also, and I like the other country called Georgia. And I like a number of them. And then we were starting to discuss that most of the contacts when former countries that used to be part of what's once called Soviet Union, when you're linking up, you're often having the contact via Moscow. People relate to Soviet Union, and people relate to Moscow, most of all before the war, of course, but still it was a lot like that. So then we realized, okay, and we have contacts with Sweden and Moldova. We have the cooperation, the Swedish Development Corporation is quite strong here, as well as in Georgia. But there's very little contact, as we saw it, in between the countries. So we thought, okay, it would be great to do a joint discussion. What are our common ideas? What is connecting the three countries? So what kind of dynamic does it happens when not only Sweden talk with Georgia, Sweden talk to Moldova, but when Moldova and Georgia and Sweden talk together? So that's the whole idea. So we had an idea, we worked on it, we got some money from the Swedish Institute because they believed in the project, which is important. And as you said, we have been on Zoom, as all of us have been so much on the digital board. So this is actually the first time we meet in person.
Yeah.
So here we're starting out. So the idea, we have been doing pilot episodes, and some of you who are here have been in some of our episodes right there, and so we're just very happy that you trusted in us, that you wanted to be part of the discussion. And we are planning for a number of things, recording today as we're doing, and there will be a number of things coming up the year that's leading up to the end of next year. That's basically when we're able to continue this, and of course we hope that things will continue even after this actual project is finished. So what have we been talking about? We have been talking about influencers. We had an episode that's not yet released about dating, which I think it was a lot of fun. Samuel was hosting that. And we had one about getting the career, your job. We talked about European Union. So there's a number of things, but we tried to be on the lighter side of serious things, if you can say that, in the sense that not only talking about problem. And it might be a challenge in these times, and when you have so much problem and a tense situation in the world. And I know what's happening yesterday with the power cut here, and we have this what's happening in Poland, which is very close to you. But still, we believe that we need to connect, putting in the lighter side of the serious matter, so to speak. So that is some ideas, and we want to connect with you and have your opinion, and seeing what we should do, get this interaction. And that's why there are so many other people, young people, that actually do the podcast. My role is, I've been moderating a few of them, but then I'll take a step back, which is quite good, and looking at and connecting even more people. And I hope there will be great discussions. So I really look forward to this evening and to the upcoming episodes that we are doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Basically, like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, don't forget to check our episodes on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. The podcast is called Echolocation. We are also looking forward to collaborating with you, so you can be our next participant on one of the subjects. So feel free to express your interest. And now back to our topic. You know that our event is called Should I Stay or Should I Go? So I'm sure that you already know what it is about, because it's like a very huge dilemma that we all have when we're studying at high school. We wonder if we should go abroad or if we should stay in Moldova to study. So this is our topic today. We gathered here people from very different backgrounds. So there are students that studied abroad and then came back to work here. We have Moldovan students that study at Moldovan universities. We have high school students that still are thinking what to do next, whether they should go abroad, whether they should stay in Moldova. So it's very, very interesting to have this perspective. Our purpose is to have this interactive discussion, to gather all kinds of opinions, to debate. So feel free to express your opinion and to feel like home here, because it's a very chill evening. Don't forget to use your vouchers in order to be more free, to feel free to speak. Yeah, Lina, you can. Yeah. And
we have to really use them all, because that's
the condition. Yeah. So back to our topic. I will make a short introduction. So as you know, there is a very huge tendency among our young population that is very highly decreasing in Moldova, because according to some statistics, between 2018 and 2020, the young population between 14 and 34 years old decreased with approximately 114,000. So that's a lot. That's the main problem. The result is that we have a lack of young people here because of lack of opportunities, because, okay, you have your reasons to leave. That's your reason. So every young person has its own reason to go abroad, to look for different opportunities. It's quite contradictory, because we can't register any progress without convincing young people to stay in Moldova. As we know that in the past years there are a lot of EU funds. Many regional cities in Moldova have started developing and creating new economic and social and cultural opportunities, have started renovating different places for young people, but we don't know if it's enough for you to stay in Moldova, to study here, or maybe to study abroad and then to come back. So we will discuss about it later. There are a lot of programs, EU programs of support for young entrepreneurs, for people that want to start a startup, for universities to modernize their programs. So especially due to our pro-European government, there are a lot of opportunities and governmental institutions that want to hire young people. So the national institutions are open to hire us. Therefore, we must think if that's enough for us to come back after studying or to study here at Moldovan universities. Therefore, we believe that there is a critical mass of chances and opportunities for young people to try to build their future here in Moldova, but you will tell us more about it. And now I will try to engage more with you. Can you please raise your hands? Who has ever thought of going abroad for studies? Okay, yeah, the majority. And then who has already studied abroad? Maybe an Erasmus semester, okay? And then who has a degree at a Moldovan university? Yeah, both bachelor or masters. Yep. And then who wants to pursue a degree abroad? And it's sure that we'll come back home after this. Okay, no hands. Then we will start our discussion with some perspectives from Sweden. Sweden, please come here. The Swedish delegation. Samuel. Yeah, so I depicted a little of our situation in Moldova,
Yes.
about how things are going here. Can you please describe the reality in Sweden? Do young people also tend to study abroad?
It's common, but I think it's not as common as here in Moldova. You know, as we're part of EU, it's very easy to travel between different EU countries. So I have a lot of friends who study in like Barcelona.
Microphone, please.
Oh, sorry.
Closer to the microphone. Yeah.
They study in Barcelona or in Berlin. Like
Yeah.
I have one friend who just like packed her things and said, "You know, Samuel, I'm going to Berlin now." I was like, "Yeah, okay," but that's like an opportunity that we have in Europe that is very good.
Are you speaking about doing a whole degree there or Erasmus?
That's the thing, because in Sweden we have a lot of very good universities. So it's most common to do your bachelor's in Sweden and maybe also your master in Sweden, but to do like one like exchange year or gap year in different countries, which is really common.
Okay, you told me before that you took a gap year after graduating high school. If you want
Yes.
to speak about it, you can just share your experience, because it's not that common for us to take a gap year after graduating.
No, in Sweden it's very common to take like a gap year because many people feel, young people feel very like burnt out or very stressed
yeah.
after high school. So I took one gap year. Normally people take like 1 to 2 gap years, and normally what people do, they like to travel a lot. That's the most common thing, to travel to. Many people go to like Bali and like Thailand.
Very
and stuff.
exotic,
Yeah,
yeah.
very exotic locations. Maybe like Costa Rica to surf. It's extremely common.
Oh, nice.
But as there were the pandemic, I didn't have the opportunity, unfortunately. So I just worked a lot. But it's fun. It is very interesting to work as well, to get between the high school and the university, to get like an insight on the work. How you say? How the work looks and how the work situation. Because often, I don't know how it is here in Moldova, but like the university world is very it's kind of closed. Enclosed. It's not
Yeah.
that like when I study at university in the south of Sweden, Lund it's called, and then it's like a pretty small city, like 80,000, and at the university there are like 50,000 people who study, so like the whole city is just a university, and then it becomes like a little like a globe, like a little society just of university, and therefore it's very interesting to like get that other perspective, if you understand.
Yeah, thank you. Is it necessary for us to speak louder? Or yeah?
No,
Okay. So the next question is about the study opportunities in Sweden. Like, it's not that common Moldovan high school students to decide for a bachelor in Sweden. And maybe you can explain more how the things work. Maybe you can get a scholarship. You think you know better. Like, how does the bachelor and the master's degree work there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's like a lot of very good universities in Sweden. I feel like I'm doing like propaganda, but I'm serious. It's really good universities, and I read a bit, and there are like a lot of opportunities even for like Moldovans to study in Sweden. There are like some requirements that you have to generally get to get to study in Sweden. It's that if you want to take a bachelor's, you need to have a high school degree. and you also need some a bit of proficiency in English, and you need to have like the equivalent of English 6 in Swedish, which it's a bit hard to translate how much it is, but it's like you should speak like pretty naturally English and understand like course and stuff like that.
Do you have a lot of bachelors in English? International degrees?
I think there are, but there are a lot of universities in Sweden, and there's a lot of difference between the different universities. I know that in my university there's a lot of international students, but there are mostly master students from India, from China. I think we have from Portugal, Spain as well, but not that common with like bachelors. Yeah, and then there are also like some like program specific requirements, like for example I study like political science, so I have in my program, so I have a course in national economics, and to do that I need to have like a math like level, and there's stuff like that we can change. But yeah, and there's also like an application fee of like 83 euros just to search, but then as you aren't part, I don't know how it works, but I think that if you are part of the EU, you can get education more. It isn't that
Cheaper?
expensive. Yeah, cheaper.
Yeah.
But if you aren't part of the EU, like unfortunately Moldova and Georgia is, then you can get a scholarship. And there's are a lot of really good scholarships. Like I have like two different main ones that I've read up on. It's one is like for the Swedish institute. That there's a Swedish institute that have like a master program, and it's called the SI Scholarship for Global Professionals, and you just need to have be a member of the one of 41 countries, or like how you say bit poorer countries, we can say, like Moldova and Georgia, and you have like 3,000 hours of work experience and a leadership position. Then you can apply for that scholarship, who it says is pretty good scholarship. And then there are bit like different scholarships for different universities who are a bit like different, have different requirements and so on.
Yeah.
But it's, one can say it's pretty hard to move to Sweden, I would say, because the culture in Sweden is pretty different. I don't know, like people here in Moldova they are pretty warm people, I would say. People
Warm?
are warm, yeah. People are very like hospitable, how do you say? Like very like good people, welcoming, nice people. And I don't want to say that Swedish people aren't, but people like, one common example is like if there is an empty bus in Sweden, and there's just one person on the bus, it's like Swedish law that you can't sit close to that person. You need to sit at the polar opposite of the bus, because people are so deadly afraid of like social interaction in Sweden. If you're gonna talk to a Swedish person on the street, people might get mad at you just for like approaching them. B, they might like run away because they're so shy.
So journalists can't approach them.
It's very hard for journalists. But also like the Swedish weather can be. I think it's colder now in Moldova than it is in Sweden. But the nights are much longer in Sweden, so it's much more dark. Like there's one really beautiful university in the north part of Sweden called Umeå University, who has very good education and very beautiful nature. But like at the winter, there's like 3 hours of daylight in one whole day. So I have a lot of friends who have gone through the north to study, and then come back after 1 year because they get so depressed. because it's
Depressed.
so so dark. Yeah,
Thank you for describing in such a nice way
worries.
education in Sweden. Thank you very much, Samuel.
No worries.
We will now invite Levani that will talk more about the education in Georgia. Same question for you. Can you describe a little bit the situation in Georgia,
Yep.
whether young people decide to study abroad or they stay home?
Thank you, Alina. Thank you for all for coming. So, this is my first time in Moldova, and I was expecting that we are pretty close culturally and politically, but I am really amazed about how close really we are when I see everything with my eyes. So, I'm really happy about that. And second of all, about your question, we are really close in that sense also. So, for me personally, I have 2 bachelors, but no masters. I started masters, but then I took a gap year, and one gap year became like 10 years or something like that. So, yeah, but typically in Georgia, so things go like this. You have 12 years of school, and when you finish, I would say, I don't know the exact statistics, but I would guess that it's more than 70% of young people are starting their bachelor's degree, and in Georgia. This may be because of the post-Soviet era or something like that, but like having a bachelor's degree means a lot to the families, first of all, and then to the young people too. So, yeah, the process goes like this. You do your bachelor's degree, and then, especially like in these past like 5 or 10 years, it's really popular to go to Europe and to do your master's degree there. So, yeah, it's really, I would say, close to the Moldovan way.
And about bachelors, mostly they stay in Georgia.
Yeah, bachelors, I would say that most of them, like a majority of them, stay, because for bachelors, they like the school typically don't do a great job to explain to their children about how to like understand yourself and how to know what do you want to do in your life. So when you're like 17 years old or 18 years old, it's really early to know. So typically, a lot of people are choosing the masters, choosing the bachelors wrongly, I would say, and then they have the problem of, okay, I have bachelors in law or international law. That's one of the like most popular bachelors in Georgia, or like MBA, not like a master's, but business administration or something like that. And then when you finish, there's like tons of lawyers, tons of bachelors of business administration, and you don't have any real like advantage over anything. So then they say, okay, then I have to do something interesting, and then they go to the Europe. But we also have some really great universities, and yeah, I can talk about it a little bit later.
Yeah, sure. That's what I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you
That's great.
about
Yeah,
education
so
opportunities.
in Caucasus area, I would say in like Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Georgia, we have like really good universities. I would start with the Faculty of Medicine, because it's really popular, and it was really popular during Soviet era, and it stayed that way. So we have a lot of Indians, for example, that study there, and also like some other from some other countries from Asia. We have really good universities in the technology sphere, because after 2003 in Georgia, when the new government came and things started to change, they really tried to fund and try to help the universities that were trying to work in this like tech sphere. So today we have, I would say, like handful of really good universities that are even maybe some higher than some really good European countries. So we are doing really good in that sense. And if you finish, for example, we have one university, that's Free University of Georgia. And if you finish the, for example, computer science degree there, you will have a really good opportunity to work either in United States or either in Europe, and like the demand is so high for that for the graduates of that university that you will not have any problems finding the job. I have a lot of friends who did that, and that's why I speak with such a like certainty. So yeah.
Nice, nice. And you encourage Moldovan students?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Have you been to Georgia, guys? Anyone? No? Okay.
Oh.
3 people. Great. I'm sure that you would agree that Georgia is pretty nice, and it's pretty like Moldova, and the capital Tbilisi is really looks like Chisinau a lot. So you would feel like you are at home, and I would really encourage starting from medicine, as I told the computer science and the tech field in general is really developing in Georgia, and we have a lot of international companies also there if you want to stay in Georgia and live, because we also have some Russians there especially after the war. That is another topic, and that's another day. But so Georgia is a pretty cool place to live. It's cheaper than Europe and really beautiful. So I encourage you guys to, yeah.
Thank you, Levanya.
You're welcome.
And now I will try to start a conversation with you. So can you please again raise your hands, the ones that want to study abroad and are still high school students? Yeah, just raise your hands. Be bold. Don't be shy, yeah. So this question is to you. Where did you choose to study, and what were the reasons behind your decision, behind this choosing this country? Yeah.
The
Yeah.
microphone is just for our recording, so it won't make you sound louder,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But feel free to stand up if needed. Somebody? Anybody? I will.
Daniel, you wanted to say something?
All right, so I'm 12th grade in Moldova, and I have thought of going to university in Romania, in the Netherlands, and in Italy. In Romania, because we all know it's accessible to go there. They offer a lot of scholarships for students in Moldova. In the Netherlands, also because it's very accessible, a lot of people, a lot of youth nowadays goes there because the prices are cheaper. The studies are pretty well developed, and it's not that hard to manage to get in one of their universities. And Italy, this was personal because I really love Italy. I study in a high school that teaches Italian, and I have thought it as one of the options that I could use. And I also have family there, so it also could be easier. But I think after the whole thought process, I might just go to Romania, even if this is one of the last options I had, because it's a lot cheaper, and I don't want to put my family in this difficult financial situation. It's not that big of a cultural shock, which I'm kind of afraid of as well. And the studies are not that bad. I mean, as in Moldova, we also have our universities are not bad when it comes to studies. It's about corruption more than the actual quality of the studies. In Romania, I hope for it to be better, to have greater point of view, a bigger point of view when it comes to this freedom of speech, opinions, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. But can you explain just briefly what are your top reasons to choose another country to study abroad?
Well, as I said, we don't have bad universities in Moldova. We have corruption.
Okay.
One of the main reasons. The second reason would be society. I don't feel comfortable with the Moldovan society at all. It's it's not very welcoming and not very open-minded, and it makes me at times feel restrained, and like in a way that I couldn't achieve my um, full capacities.
Yeah.
And yeah, these two ones are probably the main ones. But I also want to experience something new, something that I'm not used to. Even if Romania wouldn't be so different than Moldova, I still feel like it would make kind of a difference.
I always felt that Romania is like a safe zone.
Yeah.
When wherever you want, you can come back to Moldova and
Yes.
visit your parents. And if you're tired of them, you can leave, and in some
Exactly.
hours you'll be again independent.
Plus, I'm thinking of maybe this is gonna open new doors for me, as in a way I could go there and eventually, if I don't necessarily like it, I don't know, Erasmus projects, or
Yep.
I feel like this year, the last year of high school, is incredibly difficult because we have the bachelorette, and we also have to stress about signing up for universities, and it can be very a lot of mental stress and all that stuff. And because of it, a lot of people nowadays choose to have a gap year. I'm not planning on that, but if it gets to it, I'm not gonna. Yes. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Does anyone else want to add something? Is anyone like willing to study in Romania? Maybe.
Somebody else who wants to study in the Netherlands?
In Georgia.
Maybe somebody plans to study in a very, like, I don't know,
Exotic.
exotic country.
For Samuel, Moldova was exotic, so you don't know.
Should I?
If you would like to, yes. But maybe standing up would be more comfortable for the others, but just wait.
Hello. My name is Alina, and I'm very pleased to be
Louder
here.
a little.
A little bit louder, okay? All right. So I had actually an experience to study abroad in an Erasmus experience, and it was really nice. And I studied in Belgium. And probably, if you would ask me if I would ever want to go back there, my answer will be yes. And probably because it felt more just relaxed, I guess. Being here in Moldova, you usually feel constantly this need to hurry up somewhere, you know, like, I don't know, apply for a job or apply for a scholarship or something like that. But being there, I don't know, maybe because it was a short-term sort of like experience, I didn't feel that huge responsibility or something like this. But now, looking back to those experiences, it was really precious to me, like this sort of relaxed and feeling that you are just there in the moment. And somehow we as students or as young people, we forget about these things that we have just to enjoy actually being there. And yeah, studies are good, but probably you have also to feel the moment that you are there, and just to grow.
So you've started your bachelor in Moldova, and then you had an Erasmus semester in Belgium.
Yes, in my second year, I went for a half year in Brussels, and then I came back to finish my diploma.
And now that you have two different perspectives, can you make some differences between?
Oh, there were
education
actually
systems?
a lot. Maybe starting from the attitude of the teachers, they were really more focused about your experience and practical, actually, like practical skills that you'll get after the after your, I don't know, studies at the school. Meanwhile, here in Moldova, it's more about, like in my experiences, it was more about like theory and how you apply all of those theories in life. But there it was sort of like just different. And the differences also was, I think like the highlight was this one, because here I had actually, I have a bachelor degree, you know, in journalism, and usually the practical skills are the most important. But there I could apply there for like 3 months as I studied there. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Is like, do you have other participants that study in Moldova? I know we have one. Yeah. So now that we heard the top reasons to study abroad, can you share the top reasons to study in Moldova? But can you please explain more about your situation, because I know that you have a different experience.
So, hi everybody. Actually, after high school, I took a gap year because I didn't know what to do. And after my gap year, I decided to study clinical psychology. I didn't want to study normal psychology. And so for clinical psychology, there were bachelors only in the UK and in Israel. So I decided to be more original and to go to Israel. And so I went there, and the pandemic came, and so I was in my room studying. So 1 year passed, and I decided that it's not for me to stay and study in my room online. And I was in Moldova on a vacation, and I remember I just walking down the street, coming from my grandparents here in the center, and I realized that actually I love Moldova. I don't know why I went there. So the next weeks I just took my documents from Israel and I applied to Moldova, and I still study international relations, and I like it. Surprisingly, I like it, and the teachers here are nice. Yeah, so I'm the second year in
And now
Moldova
the same
studying.
question as I addressed to Alina. What are the differences between Israel's education system and Moldova's?
Well, yeah, I mean, for me personally, the main difference is my colleagues. In Israel, I had colleagues that were more, I don't know, maybe motivated. They came and they did their job well. While here in Moldova, I have good teachers. In Israel, I had good teachers as well. But here, I feel like only a few people are motivated. I mean, I feel like most of students that really want to study, they go over to Romania or abroad. And yeah, but I mean, it's not that bad. If you want to study, I mean, you can study here. But
So you need this healthy competition, yeah,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
other
yep.
colleagues. Okay, then thank you.
Thanks.
And now I know that we have participants that had studied abroad and now are working here in Moldova. And I think Alina is doing that. Both Alinas, actually. And maybe other people that studied abroad and came back.
I know many people. Actually, I invited them.
I know.
Briefly about my experience,
Yeah.
but actually I never planned to stay there. So I did a master degree in Hungary, and it was more for the experience than for the study itself, because I was really tired. I was working since my first year of bachelor's, and at some point I got really tired and I wanted a very fun experience. So I took a scholarship and I studied for 2 years in Hungary, in a small city. And I had a really nice experience, but I never planned to stay there because, you know, you have to learn Hungarian, and Hungary is not the dream place to live, to be honest. And it wasn't that different, the setting from what I had at home. And I'm really in love with Diaz and everything Diaz does. So that was the main reason I returned. And it wasn't actually about... You are in love too. With Diaz.
That's the whole DS team, so that you know.
Yeah, but I know other people that I personally invited them that also pursued degrees abroad, and they are back, and maybe they can share something.
Thank you, Alina.
And they have much more how to say, prestigious degrees than mine.
Hello everyone, I will stand up so you can... Thank you, Laura. Hello everyone, my name is Anna, and I also did my bachelor degree abroad. I studied recently in the UK. I was lucky enough to receive the prestigious Chevening Scholarship, and this landed me the chance to go for a year in the UK to study corporate communication in my case. But I want to make a little bit of introduction here. I don't know why I got the chance today, but also because I interacted many times with high schoolers, that it's not so cool to study in Moldova. And if you're a high schooler, you must quickly make a plan to go abroad, because Moldova is corrupted. It's not a nice place, maybe not a friendly society, and many different ideas, not only because I heard most recently from you, but I wanted to say that I did my bachelor here, right across the street at the State University of Moldova. Probably it's very different, very much different actually from my academic experience in the UK, but it also taught me a lot, and it put me in contact with wonderful people like Alina and the DS team, and it gave me the chance to make a lot of things aside of my academic experience. So for those of you who are still in doubt and maybe considering to stay here, don't listen to anyone, because Moldova has actually some really cool opportunities to offer. So if you're thinking about Moldova, please don't feel pressured by anyone. And I know that you can find a place, and I know that you can make somebody out of yourself, because there's so much other things, cool things to do and to be and to make around here. But as about my academic experience in the UK, if you're also considering this country, maybe, I would say it's definitely a nice destination for your academic experience because of its heritage, history of so many years of investing in this field, I would say. But I would probably could share only about my master's degree. So exactly as Alina did, after I did my bachelor, I was already in this field. I get some professional work experience, and I decided that it's probably time to move on, and I wanted to kind of confirm what I know from the field and to get a little bit more academic background and to know that I can do more. And it was critical for me to understand that I can survive in a multicultural environment, and that I can actually prove myself as a professional abroad. So I would also suggest to you, if you're thinking you're not sure to go abroad right now after your high school finishes, give yourself a little bit of time. Go and explore your interests. As probably somebody has mentioned before, not many of us know exactly what to do right after high school, and that's absolutely normal. And if you feel like you're absolutely lost in the space, you don't know what to do with your life, you don't know where to study, it's normal. We were all there. I know how it feels, Alina knows how it feels, Alex knows how it feels, and it's absolutely normal. Just give yourself a little bit of time. Even if you're not unsure with the bachelor degree you're gonna pursue, it's not a big crime. It's not a crime at all if you change your mind and you go to study another field. It's definitely a choice that it will define your life in a certain way, but it's not like it's gonna end there if you don't like it or you decide to do something else with your life. So I just say, give yourself the freedom to try things, to, I don't know, even do some small mistakes, but don't think like this is gonna define your life for 100% for the rest of your life. So please go and explore yourself, do whatever you can do, take voluntary experiences, meet friends from all over the place, travel, try interesting things, and education is definitely a big part of your life, so invest in yourself and invest in your future. Felt like it was a political speech, right?
You're inspiring.
Wasn't planning at all to speak so much, but it felt so good to be among people, right? No, I'll pass it to you.
You're truly inspiring, and I feel like making some mistakes now. Actually, I'm really glad that Anna said, turned a bit the topic to Moldova. And I know that there are some people here that tried to study abroad. They didn't like it, and they returned home. And maybe, Alina, you can share a little bit, the bit that you are comfortable with, about your experience of going and returning, and just to continue the idea that Anna had.
I wasn't prepared to tell my experience, but it's fine, I can do that. So I decided to, the whole my high school period, I was very motivated to study abroad, like all the high school students, because of all of my classmates were deciding where to study in Europe, and I loved Germany. I had a German dream to study there, to work there. I was very, very motivated, and I applied to study media and communications in German. And then I went there, I studied for 1 semester. I romanticized the period a lot before. I thought that I'll be so welcomed there, and that my easygoing spirit will be the same in Germany, but it was not the case. I got like in a very tough period. I discovered my personality a lot. I asked myself a lot of questions. I discovered who I am. So it was a period that helped me a lot to understand my values, to understand how strong I am. And after 3 months of studying, it was a semester, I decided to come back because I realized that the degree wasn't for me. I realized that I didn't feel well enough in the city where I was studying, because there were people that, like my family, kept telling me that just try to do 1 semester and then you'll feel comfortable. It's normal not to feel comfortable in the first period, but I just didn't feel that it's my case. It wasn't for me. I felt that, and I came back, and now I'm studying at the pedagogical university. Very surprising. Yeah. I'm studying English and German literature with a teaching degree. It was completely a shock for me because I've never thought about studying in Moldova. I'm still thinking if it was a good decision or not, but I'm trying to be as active as possible outside the university program, not to go to lessons so much, because every time I go I feel very disappointed with everything, so better just to keep my spirit like in a high level. I'm going to DES, I get all the energy from there, so that's how I'm here. Yeah, that's my experience. If anyone else wants to add something, maybe. I have also a very interesting question that Alina proposed, whether is it important to have a preferential attitude towards people with international degree when hiring them? Should the employers be more motivated to hire a person with an international degree? Yep. The microphone, please.
It's probably really funny that I will answer to this question. I personally do not believe that a higher degree makes a person more qualified for a job. This is completely wrong. And I could say that from my experience, some teenagers could be more qualified than 1,000 adults that have at least 3 universities completed. As a person that has worked at least 3 corporate jobs and now 1 job that I absolutely love at here at Diaz, I can say that the higher diploma is not actually such a big decision in our life as everyone loves to say it. I just think we have a lot of pressure on us because of society, especially as high school students, and I think we should chill about this. And most of the friends, most of the people I know, they all just make this attitude and this decision of choosing their university of more like, I just want to get out of this country and do something, it doesn't matter what, but let's just go for it, which is absolutely wrong. You have to be realistic with yourself. You have to realize that there's a big amount of money you'll have to spend on yourself when you go somewhere. You'll have to reintroduce yourself into the new society you're going to, and your success is not guaranteed. You're going there, no one promises you something, and not everyone is going to be necessarily as friendly as you expect them to be. From my point of view, I will still think a lot about what I'm going to do with my university. I will probably not stay here, but I will be realistical about this, and I will not dream to go to USA or to Australia or to Netherlands, where I know there's a place where I can't be, just because everyone loves to say that education is so accessible nowadays, which is absolutely not true. it's actually accessible to everyone that has money, and
depends on the
a lot
country.
of money. And to be harsh, it's the reality of today, as democracy says, education should be accessible to anyone. But when you look at a state university in countries like Netherlands, you have to pay like tuition fees of like 2,000 euros to study something, and to study for something that probably won't promise you anything good. So after all, for everyone that wants to find a job, to be successful, just do your thing. Go to projects, get a job, do something nice, no matter how old you are, and you will find success. But don't dream about a higher diploma that probably won't promise you anything, because there's at least like 1,000 people that want to do the same thing as you through that higher diploma. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Netherlands people, I know that there are some.
Hi everyone, I'm Antonella and I will share a little bit my story. I am a third year student at Moldova State University, and when I was in my first year, I applied for studies abroad. I was accepted at the university in the Netherlands, but I couldn't make it. It was the pandemic period, and there were many circumstances, and I was scared, and my family was scared too. And I decided to stay here in Moldova. And in my first year, I was really depressed and disappointed, and it felt like, oh, my life is lost and I will never be happy. But then I had the opportunity to go to apply for an exchange program, and I went in Brussels, and it was like my trial period. I had the experience abroad and I really liked it, and now I know the answer why I want to study abroad and why I need a higher education. I would say that university is a great place because it connects you with people, and it connects you with people who share the same interests. And when you find people who have the same interests as with you abroad, it is even nicer because they come from different places and they make you they make your personality change. Now I had the opportunity to see that universities in other countries, they offer you good equipment, very comfortable environment for studying, and it's first of all it's about connections. You can find people who will be maybe your colleagues, and you can start a project together or a startup. You won't find those people on the streets, you know. And yes, now I want to apply for a master degree abroad. Wish me luck.
Good luck. Yeah, thank you. Now I think I can address this question to the girls, Alina, your girls, who came back from abroad. So it's quite controversial, but everyone can answer to this question. Is it necessary to have a degree, a university degree these days, when we have so many opportunities to study online, to develop abilities on online courses, to gain experiences from some working places, from jobs? Is it still necessary to have a university degree?
I will add a bit here.
Yeah.
Of course, it depends on the field.
Yeah. We're not talking about law or medicine, like something more specific.
It
like
depends on the field,
journalism.
and because it depends on the skill. So it depends on the skill you need to learn in order to perform the work. Ideas, for example, and if you take journalism in general and digital content and everything we do, because we are not making only journalism. We develop other side projects and products. A set of various skills are needed. For us, it's not important. We don't ask people that come to be hired. We don't ask them if they have a degree. We have high schoolers in our team. I mean, we have people that have international degrees or have local degrees, or they are students, because that's our experience of hiring people. We hire students, and we really care about skills and about the desire of learning, because we are open to teach them, and we are also open for them to teach us. So, but it's a particular field of expertise. So maybe some other people have different opinions here. Yeah, but it depends. Yeah.
Yeah, can you pass the microphone?
So I had my first job when I was in my second year of university. So of course I didn't have like a degree or something like that. But I think because of my volunteering experience and all of these things that I gained throughout my experience, it helped me stand out and understand that, for example, at my radio job that I had as a host, it was really for me fulfilling this thing that, you know, I had connections throughout my, as I mentioned, volunteering activities and all of those skills that I gained. And I think nowadays, in Chisinau or in Moldova, there's a lot of youth organizations that actually provide you all of the opportunities for you to develop skills that will help you eventually at a job that you'll be as a project manager or a team leader, or just to manage yourself, I guess, as a person or as a future professional. So as probably a wish to all of the young people that are listening to us, or not necessarily young ones, you should just go out for volunteering experiences, because those will be the ones that you'll invest time, but at least you'll gain all of those experiences that in other places you could be paid for it, but actually the lessons that you learned are really priceless.
Yeah, thank you. Alina, and you as an employer, can you share your experience, whether it's important for you? Like, do you pay any more attention to people that have an international degree, or you don't care about it?
I will repeat myself, of course,
Yeah.
but we hire high schoolers.
Yeah, I know. But people
No,
like
I know.
journalists that come.
For us, it's not really important. Actually, I don't know how it is for other companies, because I have never been working to. I had never. Yeah, you got it. So Diaz was the only one. But for us, when we interview people for a new job, we talk about everything but studies. We talk about life, we talk about their passions, we talk about their opinions on different aspects of life. We talk about maybe their preferences, like political preferences, or like how they, and that's all just for the sake of understanding the personality and the curiosity and the interest. Yeah, we can talk about the studies only if those people are students, and it's important for us to understand how to create a normal agenda for, like, a work agenda for them. But in general, we talk about some other things, because we are interested in other things, and we really want to understand how much they are ready to learn more and to strive to get better and to be better. So that's, I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but it's right. I mean, just, yeah, that's how we are doing things. But maybe there are some other employers here.
Alex wanted to.
She really wants to speak. I mean, that's something big.
What I wanted to say, it's a point of view from other employers, because due to my job, I'm really in connection with companies and with the directors of small companies, bigger companies, and the real fact is they really need good technicians. Of course, you cannot be a doctor or an engineer without having a degree. That's very important to be allowed to do that job, to project some lines or some very complicated stuff. But the companies now are really looking for technicians that really know their job. I'm speaking here about college level we have here, so it's, if we talk about international classification of education, it will be level 4. I'm from education, so that's why I'm a bit making things complicated. But really, investors coming to Moldova and also local companies are really looking for people that know how to do the job. And if they are really interested of people that speak foreign languages, people that can access IT tools, people that are able to respect the delays, to do multiple tasks, and of course people that can do very good things, meaning take care of their equipment that they have, or really to be even in agriculture, they're looking for young people that are able to perform complicated tasks, and I can say you that they can have even bigger salaries that we, those who already have a bachelor degree, are having at the end of the month.
But had you studied abroad?
Yes, I did.
Where?
In Romania. But that was just because I had no opportunity to get here a scholarship. In some areas that I was more interested, so I entered here at the university and there, and I decided to leave. And I was studying in a very nice city. I was in Sibiu, and I really loved the cultural life that I had the opportunity to have there. But in the end of those 3 years, I felt like I have to come back home. And I don't feel sorry for that, because I got a nice job, and then I met my husband. So being a bit emotional, but here I really have lots of friends. I have my family here, and I really feel Chisinau as a nice city. Of course, I am sometimes a bit nervous about people living here, about some situation with public transportation and public services, but I'm still fighting with that. And I'm still trying to make them understand that we really deserve something better if we pay for it. But I think if we young people will decide to stay here and to do something for our country, we'll succeed to do something better.
Okay, thank you.
And you wanted to say?
Yes. Yeah, me as a student that was like an exchange student, and me as a person that hired people.
Yeah.
Yes, in the past. I remember once at the class in US where I studied, where I had an exchange, the psychology teacher once asked us, "How do you think a person who studied medicine, and had a really good, successes in medicine, can it go to engineering and study engineering?" And we said, of course not, because she's good at medicine and not good at engineering. Mm-hmm. And the psychology teacher said us, actually it's a very common misconception, because usually when you look at a person, what studied and what did, what skills they have, you don't actually look at their skills that have now, but you look at the ability to learn. So as a like an exchange student, and as a person who likes people, likes to talk to people, it's one question we need to answer ourselves: what kind of skills we have, and what kind of skills we want to acquire. And these can be very basic skills, like learning a new language. Do we want to know Italian, or we don't want to know Italian? Do we want to learn Chinese, or do we don't want to learn Chinese? Do we have proficiency skills in Excel or not? We know Photoshop. You know, like a lot of basic skills, a lot of skills that can be trained. So every time, sometimes it matters a degree that you are doing that is very technical, because your employee or the possible investor will look at your skill set and say, are you qualified to do this thing? Can I trust you or not? On the other side, it's important when you go to a university, where you're going to like study something, to understand what kind of skills I want to go take from there, and after that to ask yourself what kind of skills I got from there. Sometimes you can go to a university, study, I don't know, foreign languages or psychology or whatever, but during your university years, you can be the best organizer in your, classmate, your generation. You're organizing parties, you're organizing social events, you're organizing formal events or informal events. At the end of university, maybe you'll have your degree in psychology, but actually you'll have 3 years of experience of organizing events. That is very important. So, especially for the people that are looking now to go to study somewhere, ask yourself, what kind of skills do you want to know? Do you have now? What kind of skills you want to improve, and what kind of skills you want to acquire? And already question how can be through your university. There are university opportunities that can you find at the university, part-time jobs, online classes, but do your own, task list and ask yourself, I know this, I know this, I know this. So sometimes when we have interviews at DS and we ask random questions, sometimes stupid, sometimes smart, sometimes weird, actually it's more about to understand the skill sets and the ability to learn of the person. Because especially like new media, digital media, it's a thing that is changing so fast. The algorithms are changing so fast. The social networks are changing so fast. So a person working in this field has to have the ability to learn fast, adapt fast, and forget other things fast and learn new ones. So this is a very important ability that we are looking for.
But how can an employer check on these abilities? He has the CV in front of him?
Depends on, an employee depends on kind of abilities. So how somebody said, do you want to check the ability of speaking a foreign language? So you know Chinese and Italian. How do you think? How able you'll be to learn Spanish? Most probably yes. If you'll invest a lot, like half a year, you're gonna learn Spanish if you already learn Italian and Chinese. If you are more technical, things in Excel or Photoshop or Adobe, or doesn't matter. The other things is through questions, for understanding your personality and how you're looking through to the world. So, even the questions, how do you see yourself in 5 years? I know everybody will laugh about it. I think it's funny as well. But this is the question, is not actually of how you actually see yourself in 5 years, but what do you want from yourself in 5 years? What do you want to know? What do you want to actually it's more about seeing what you're dreaming about, but actually if you really have a specific goal or not to go there. I want to be a billionaire in 5 years. Yes, but do I know how to go there? Maybe not. So that's not very helpful. Yes. So I think as an employee, now, especially nowadays, everything is shifting. The more ourselves we are, and not we try to answer the question that people are giving to us, the more probability is for us to get hired and to be noticed. Because, if you're just learning things that you can find it online, how to answer top 10 questions about what do you see yourself in the future, probably everybody already read these questions and who is preparing themselves. Mm-hmm. So you'll not be special. You'll be like random. Question is, what kind of skill sets do you have and how you make yourself special? Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to continue Alex's thoughts, he said it's important to find the means of learning. And one means is to maybe make an internship. And I know
Ideas.
there is somebody here that actually is making an internship, and maybe can share something about that.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Julia. I am half Swedish and half Italian. I am currently in Moldova. I've been here since the 10th of August, so you can decide if I am new or not. It feels like I have done a lot, but I'm sure there's still a lot to see. So my home university is Uppsala University. It's one of the most known universities in Sweden. It is about 1 hour north of Stockholm. It's quite cold, quite dark, especially right now, and it's very different from Chisinau. In Sweden, we have the possibility to do a so-called internship half a year or one semester. So if you study a program, you can apply for an internship either in Sweden or abroad. And actually, my plan was not to come here. I did not know about Moldova. It was, far away, and I thought you only spoke Romanian. I am doing study languages, so I am doing an internship in Russian right now. Yes, and I studied Russian long before the war. I am not a Putin lover, but things happen. And my plan was to go to Moscow, but then with the war, of course, things change. You have to do something else. So suddenly, a lot of new opportunities are emerging. For example, Moldova has been very actually well known and recognized in Sweden. Now people know about it a little bit more, at least. I am bringing my friends here, and I think that this is the best opportunity I could have hoped for. I am doing a lot of new things. I'm meeting new people. I am discovering a new culture. It's very different from Swedes. Swedes are very reserved with new people. Maybe not so much in university towns. Then, it's students, it's young people, and but the culture is very different, I would say. And I felt very welcome here in Moldova. And I am learning a lot of things. I still have a lot of things on my to-do list before I leave, but I already know that I will come back. So, yeah. Thank you.
Yep. And now the final question that will make us think more. What should we do in order to make young people come back after studying abroad? Like, what do you need to come back to Moldova? Yeah, your girls.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura. So I make a bachelor degree in journalism, and after that I make a master degree in journalism in France and Romania. So, and I've turned back in our home. From my experience with all of this story, to choose where to study is, there is me and there is life, and you put yourself a question what I'm gonna do with it, and how I'm gonna spend it, what I can do for others and what I can do for myself. And the answer to this question is the dream you choose to fight for. And to study is just one way or one path you can, pursue this dream. There are other paths, but, to study somewhere is the more common answer we choose for ourselves. I come back to Moldova because for me is a love story. I love this country. I love my family and my friends. But I'm very thankful for the period when I was abroad, because it was a period of discovering myself, and I'm sure it was, for all of us, because you found yourself in a place you never been, and you discover yourself from our perspective, and you discover people, and you discover the way you see all the things
around you, and you come back with all this experience and you give it back to your country, and you are happy with yourself and with the place you are. So I think we can't do much for the young people to call them back, but we can do a lot for them in the period they are at home. You know, just make them love their country. So in the period they will be abroad, they just have a lot of things to remember: friends, family, places, food, and wine. Thank you.
Some other people that return at home. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. So I think, well, I have many friends my age or a little bit older than me, and they're really smart and they have great visions about the future, about politics, but they all went abroad to study, and they don't want to return back. And I think we should educate like young generations, like from school, to like this to educate about them, to love the country and about the national spirit, because I think in the young people, in the young generation, the national spirit and the spirit of the country is absent, and they don't take these things seriously. Maybe I'm taking it too serious, but I think like we should tell them that here are their roots, and they come from Moldova, and we shouldn't wait for the politicians to change something, and then we should come back and be comfortable here. I think, okay, I agree that if you want to get a better degree, you can go abroad and study and get a lot of experience, but then you can come home, because I also think that you can feel better home than anywhere else. So yeah, I think the main reason, one of the main reasons, is why young people don't want to come abroad, because they don't have this the love for the country very developed. Yeah, so I think we should work on that, and we should work on getting the young generations this to tell them these ideas about coming home and making the change, because they are the change, and only they can change things. They shouldn't wait for someone else to change and then come home.
And how should this national identity be developed? Should it be developed through history classes or through opportunities given to young people for them to come back?
I think both. We should combine both. I think from a young age we should include children in many extracurricular activities, not only from school. I think they should participate in the society as much as they can. So they should see that they actually matter, because I think they go abroad and they don't come back because they don't think they matter here, maybe.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you. Anyone else with the same thoughts or different, maybe?
I'm just gonna go back to the whole topic of returning, and personally, when I think about, I would like to return after I finish university abroad. I would like to return home, because I had the luck to be surrounded by a lot of incredible people throughout my high school experience. And you can clearly see that Moldova has a lot of potential, and there is hope for us. But however, like one of the biggest problems that I encounter with the country is the society, and the fact that we keep in some parts of our society, obviously, we still have this old Russian views about life and how we have to live it, and they're very, if in my parents personally, the closest example I have. And so I think the solution is just gonna be through time. Just you return home with the hope that returning is gonna change, and a bunch of people returning again and again and again eventually is gonna be like an entire social change, and people are gonna see a difference, and they're gonna see potential in this new way of living life, and this whole perceptions that were so spread through our society, they're eventually gonna disappear, and they're gonna be replaced with new modern ones. And this is the hope I have, and this is a Moldova that I hope to return someday. Yes.
Very inspiring thoughts. If nobody else wants to add anything, there is. Oh.
Well, I think one of the things keeping me back to study in Moldova is the political instability we have in our country, and we can't really change that as a civil society, because at any given point we might get invaded or have our borders violated. And that's so uncertain, and it's one of my main motivating factors to go away and abroad. And also, as Dan has mentioned, the society here lacks, I mean, through my participating in different Erasmus projects, I experienced a totally different society, a society that is very welcoming, very progressive, but in Moldova, I always get so disappointed. Even though I know a lot of great people here, the majority, it's not that great, and it just pains me because I want to live here, because I want to speak in my language, love in my own language, but these factors just keep me back, and hopefully maybe after my studies abroad, I might consider the opportunity to come back to Moldova.
Thank you, Leon. A very sad reality, but we all know it. And then, is that all?
But I'm unsure about it. So I believe that the idea of coming or not coming back home, it depends on the person itself. And I had several interviews with students who study in Netherlands and in other countries, Moldovan students. And I realized that it depends from the inner part of yourself. So it doesn't, a lot of students said that if there would be more money or more opportunities, then they would return, but I don't think so. I think that people who decided to return back, they didn't do it because of the financial goods or because of other benefits they could get here, but they returned back because they had this feeling inside of them. So I returned back because I just missed a lot Moldova. I just missed my language. I missed my friends. I missed the years. I missed my family. So I knew that I belong here, and I wanted to be a part of a change. I didn't want to be just a little piece in a huge system, no one knowing about me, but I wanted to be this big part of the change.
Yeah, thank you. I also felt this thing when I was in Germany, like being part of a huge crowd. And it's very different from being here, because you know that here you matter. But in Germany, like in general, studying abroad is about being part of the international students group. And nobody cares about you. Oh, it happens. So, yeah.
This evening is not, I mean, we are done with this maybe
Yep.
open discussion, but you have your drinks and enjoy, you can
Use this space to communicate.
like we can continue networking without cameras.
Yeah, so don't forget to follow our Instagram page called Echolocation and to listen to our episodes because they're really interesting. And we have now QR code, please scan it. You can fill in with your ideas of the next episodes, like subjects, whatever you want to talk about. Not you, but subjects for our next episodes. So now feel free to discuss on our topic, on different topics, to benefit on your vouchers. Yep.